Carbs are such an important part of our diet. So if you would like to learn more about how they work in our body, then keep on watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Melissa. I'm a dietitian and we talk about food and nutrition and all that stuff here on my channel. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you are. Today we are doing video number 2 in my Nutrition 101 series. If you haven't seen my first one, which was all about fat, I will link it. So today we're talking about carbs, which I feel like very much like fat get a bad reputation. I think even more than fat, carbs are kind of seen as the enemy, and I very much disagree with that. So today we're just gonna talk about like what carbs are, how they are digested, how they work in the body, just kind of the basics of carbs. So yeah, if you wanna learn a little more, then let's get into it. So first things first, carbs are the second of 3 macronutrients. The first one was fat, second one's carbs, and the third is protein. I mentioned in the fat video that fat is the highest calories per gram at 9 calories per gram. Carbs are 4 calories per gram. So that means that if you're looking at a food label and you see that something has 3 grams of carbs in it, then you automatically know that that has 12 calories coming from carbohydrates. So I don't recommend calorie counting, but if you are counting calories and you're interested in that, then that's how that works. So what kind of things have carbs in them? So much. So many things have carbs. When we think of carbs, I think we mostly think of like bread and pasta and baked goods, but vegetables have carbs, fruit have carbs, things like dairy, yogurt, all sorts of whole grains like rice, quinoa, all of that has carbs. So let's talk a little bit about how carbs are digested. Like most food, digestion of carbs starts in the mouth. When you start chewing your food, something called salivary amylase is released and it starts to break down the carbs that you're chewing into smaller molecules, smaller versions of those carbs. They then pass through your stomach and they go into your small intestines where most of the digestion takes place. So in the small intestine, something called pancreatic amylase is released, and that just kind of continues to break those carbs down into smaller structures. And basically they continue to be broken down until they reach their smallest form, which is monosaccharides. So that means it's a structure with 1 sugar. I will put a photo here of what a monosaccharide looks like. And the monosaccharides are glucose, fructose, and galactose. So once they're broken down into those monosaccharides, they can be then absorbed back through the intestinal wall and kind of delivered to where they need to go. So one of those places that they can go is straight to your cells, and they are taken there by insulin. And I think I might make an entire video about insulin or possibly about diabetes. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. But that's the first place that glucose can go, basically through the bloodstream to the cells via insulin. It can also go to the liver, where any of those monosaccharides that are not glucose are then converted to glucose, and they are then stored for energy. And that can be for energy for like while you're sleeping or while you're fasting, so that that glucose can still be released into your blood and you can still have energy when you are fasting and don't have the food to give you that immediate glucose. Or it can also be moved to your muscles, where it is also stored for energy, and that is used for things like endurance exercise, where you are really working your muscles and some extra energy needs to be released in order to, you know, still keep those muscles working. And the way that carbs are broken down so efficiently into glucose really makes carbs an important source of energy and kind of like the most immediate source of energy. You know, other macronutrients are broken down into glucose. It just takes a lot more work in your body to do that, but carbs do that very efficiently. So when we're talking about the digestion, you know, I said some are broken down in the mouth, some move and are continue to be broken down. And this really starts with two different kind of versions of carbs, and that is simple carbs and complex carbs. Simple carbs are mono and disaccharides, meaning structures with 1 or 2 sugars. Again, I will show you some photos. They are found in some naturally occurring states like lactose, but most mono and disaccharides or simple carbs are going to be found in what we kind of think of as added sugar. So like sucrose, aka sugar. And essentially, since those are pretty simple structures to begin with, they don't need to be broken down as much. So it doesn't take as much time for them to be converted to glucose and be released in your bloodstream. And therefore, they will have a much quicker and kind of more intense spike on your blood sugar because they're getting digested and absorbed quickly. The other type of carbohydrates are complex carbs. That is going to be greater than disaccharides. And this is basically things that include starches and fiber. So things like potatoes, oats, whole grains, things that we think of as starchy foods or foods that contain fiber, like fruit even, or vegetables. So since they're larger structures, they take longer to be broken down, and therefore they are released into your bloodstream more slowly. And another big factor in that is fiber. Fiber is a carbohydrate, but we are actually not able to digest fiber. So that's why if you have ever counted calories and people tell you to look at net carbs, what you're looking at is carbs minus fiber, because fiber can't contribute any calories or any grams of carbs because they are not digested or absorbed into our bodies. Basically, they just go through our bodies and are excreted. So what the presence of fiber does is it actively slows down the digestion of those carbohydrates. And I did make an entire video about fiber, so if you want to learn more about the specifics of fiber, then you can watch that as well. But basically those complex carbs contain fiber, which helps to slow down the digestion and in turn slow down the release of glucose into your bloodstream. So that's why something like fruit or vegetables or whole grains is not going to spike your blood sugar in the way that a cookie or a piece of candy would. So that is how carbs are digested in our body, and the difference between simple and complex carbs. I'm not going to tell you how much carbs you should be eating because it's so different for everyone. And so when we talk about things like keto or other like really low carb diets, you might hear a lot of dietitians or people who don't recommend keto saying that we need carbs. And it's true. Like I said, they are our most efficient source of energy. And while other foods can be converted into energy, again, I made a keto video as well, but they're just not as efficient. And they don't have, you know, that fiber, which is so important for so many other reasons as well. And while I'm not going to tell you how many carbs you should be eating, I would encourage, you know, going for those more complex carbs. So trying to reduce the simple carbs, the more processed things, added sugar, those things that are going to be spiking your blood sugar, and go more for the complex carbs. So the whole grains, the fruits, the vegetables, the type of things that are giving you fiber, that are released more slowly into your blood sugar, and are providing your body with a lot more nutrition. So I hope that was a nice little basic overview of carbohydrates and how they are digested and absorbed into your body, where you can find them, what kind of foods you find them in, and why you should eat them. If it was, give this video a thumbs up. If there's more information that you would like, then definitely let me know in the comments below. Like I said, let me know if you want me to make a video about like insulin or diabetes or anything like that. And I will make a protein 101 video in the future as well. But yeah, let me know if you like this kind of like nutrition 101 format. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.